Get some instant analysis. Welcome former NBA champion Rip Hamilton. And Rip, Kawhi Leonard goes for 45, the most points when facing elimination in Clippers franchise history. His second 40-point game when facing elimination. The other was Game 7 against the 76ers when he had a game winner in 2019. What did you see from Kawhi in this game and on this night as he's trying to stave off elimination?
Oh man, he heard all the critics before this game. Everybody was talking about who's the king of LA, especially with the Lakers losing last night. This was his opportunity. This was his moment to solidify himself as the guy in California. And he came out and really showcased it tonight. I mean, early in the game, he kind of allowed Reggie Jackson to get off. Reggie did a great job, especially when Dallas went to that 2-3 zone to kind of take Paul George and Kawhi Leonard out of rhythm. But Reggie carried the torch from an offensive end and a scoring standpoint, and then Kawhi really took over in the second half. I mean, he had to spend a lot of energy early in the game guarding Luka Doncic, trying to keep him off rhythm. Luka came out in the first quarter, it was just like a heavyweight bout, scored pretty easily, especially in switch situations out on the floor. But in the second half, Kawhi really stepped his game up on the offensive end. He was attacking. He was getting to his medium-range jump shot. He wasn't settling. That was the thing that I loved about him. He called for the ball. He asked for the ball. And the one thing that he did was he tried to put Luka Doncic in pick-and-roll situation where he was switched out on Kawhi, because what Rick Carlisle was doing really great, he was high Luka Doncic on the defensive end because he knew that he had to spend so much energy on the offensive end. But the Clippers understood that. They knew that. They tried to put him in a situation where he was forced to guard Kawhi, and Kawhi took advantage of the moment.
He said he didn't want to go home, and of course, we know that he can become an unrestricted free agent this offseason, but right now, all he's thinking about is getting a win in Game 7 back home at Staples Center, which takes us to this. This is wild. The road team has won all 6 games in this series. First time that's happened in NBA playoff history. Does that trend continue in Game 7? Does Luka and the Mavs go on the road and win, or do the Clippers protect their home floor on Sunday?
I have no idea. I've never seen this craziness ever before. I mean, one minute we have no fans, and now all the fans are back in the building, and no one can take advantage of home court situation. That's just out of my mind right now. And I mean, you know, the Clippers can't win in LA. The Mavericks can't win in Dallas. But I tell you what, there's a lot of fireworks right here. Both teams are playing excellent basketball. We're going to see. This is Game 7. This is knuckle down. Hopefully the Clippers can feed off their fans. I mean, I'm going to say that again. Feed off your fans. Bring some energy to the game, because it should be an exciting Game 7.
If you had to give us an early lean, who would you pick to win this Game 7?
Me, playing moments and situations like this, I got to go with the home team. I got to go with the Clippers, even though that nobody has won a home game yet. I'm saying to myself, at one point in time, the home team got to get a victory. So I'm going to give the edge to the Clippers. They played great tonight. They got momentum right now. Hopefully they can come play on their home court and get a dub. The
Clippers have been favored every game this series. They'll be favored when they go home to Staples Center to play on Sunday. All right, staying in the West, one day after getting eliminated by the Nuggets, the Trailblazers and head coach Terry Stotts mutually agreed to part ways. Rip, what does this mean for Damian Lillard, who's under contract in Portland through the 24-25 season?
Well, I think this means nothing to Damian Lillard. I mean, if you look at Damian Lillard and the success that he has in the last couple years in the playoffs, he's been playing excellent basketball. Him and C.J. McCollum, I mean, that's been the story on this ball club. So the reason why I think it means nothing to them, I think it all depends on what management does. They got to bring in another player. They got to bring in another all-star caliber player to take some load and some pressure off their guards, because it seems like it's Groundhog Day, same old story all over again, each and every playoff series every year. Dame Lillard plays great. He plays like an MVP, but he just doesn't have enough help. Hopefully they can go out there and get an all-star caliber player in the front court, maybe a Karl Anthony Towns of somebody like that they can add to their roster, because they need help. I don't think it was anything that had to do with the coaching staff, but yes, sometimes you need to hear a different voice in the locker room. So that could be something that they've been thinking about. But somebody got to take the blame. And when you lose in the first round the last couple years, a lot of times them fingers are pointing at the head coach. So hopefully that Dame Lillard goes up there and talks to management and says, hey, give me help. Bring me more talent, because the last thing that you want if you're a Portland Trail Blazers fan, that Dame starts saying, hey, he wants to go somewhere else, or he demands a trade. So get this guy some help. Hopefully they can go out and get some more front court help, because they need somebody that can demand a double team, especially in the post.
So, Rip, more likely for Portland to add another valuable piece or trade Damian Lillard and blow this thing up?
I say you don't want to blow this up. Dame Lillard, he's been playing great all season long. Top 5 guy, in my opinion, in the MVP race. Top 5 player in the league also. And he's been showcasing that year after year. And he's been really showed his loyalty and his commitment to the organization by taking by signing an extension. So I think it's a situation right now that you bring him in office, you see what's going through his head, asking him what players he need to add to this ball club, even with now hiring a coach, getting his opinion on what type of offense they need to run out on the floor. Same thing. So I think this is a very important year for the Portland Trailblazers to try to keep Dame Lillard happy, and it'll be a no-go, in my opinion, to try to trade him.
Well, speaking of a guy that they might bring in, one of the potential candidates for Portland and Boston includes Clippers assistant, your former teammate, Chauncey Billups, a.k.a. Mr. Big Shot. Rip, what makes Chauncey a great choice to lead a franchise?
Well, I think he's one of the better leaders in the game of basketball. A lot of times in today's game, you hear who's the best leader in the game. You hear Chris Paul and you hear LeBron James. And both of them guys, I think, when they're done, if they want to coach, they'll be great coaches. But when I played, it was Chauncey Billups. And Chauncey was our leader on our team. He was, anytime you play with a coach like Larry Brown, you have to be, Larry's always looked at his point guards as being a coach on the floor. Chauncey has great work ethic. He's a great leader on and off the floor. I think the one thing about the Portland Trail Blazers and their star player, Dame Lillard, he respects him. Very similar to in Brooklyn with Steve Nash, and you got Kyrie Irving and James Harden and Kevin Durant. Them guys respect Steve Nash, so you know that nobody's going to go over his head to try to prove a point or try to tell him what to do because of his success he had as a player. I would see the same similar dynamic if Chauncey got hired for the Portland Trail Blazers. He's a great leader. He's a great X&O guy. He understands, hey, you know what? Even though Damian Lillard is a great player, other guys got to get involved too because of him being a leader of our ball club in Detroit. So I think he'll be a great hire for Portland or anybody else that takes a chance on him. Yeah,
it'd be certainly awesome to see him either in Boston or Portland, coaching Jason Tatum or coaching Damian Lillard in Portland. That'd be pretty cool. But right now, the head coaching job open in both Portland and Boston. Rip Hamilton breaking it down. A busy night in the NBA with just one game, but a lot of things going on here with the NBA playoffs. The former NBA champ breaking it all down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Rip, great stuff as always. Thanks, man.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.